Welcome everybody to the IDF industry session called Who is Who in Docu Shorts 2024 Distribution Sales Festivals that is organized by the Institute of Documentary Film in Prague, the Czech Republic. My name is Hanna Kulhankova. I'm curator and coordinator of the IDF industry sessions, and I will also moderate the session today. Today we will talk about the current state of the short documentary film landscape with the focus on works from Eastern and Central Europe. 5 experts will share their experience with distribution and sales of short documentary films and also possibilities that film festivals offer to short docs. This session is part of the activities of the Institute of Documentary Film that focuses on short documentary films, and the guests are among the decision makers that participate at the short pitch at Millenium Docs Against Gravity Festival that is taking place very shortly. So let me introduce our 5 guests. I will start with Anna Grabo, who is in charge of acquisition and sales at Kurzfilm Agentur in Hamburg, Germany. Joanna Baranowska, who is film curator, film selector, development executive at production company Serce from Poland. And Norton, who is the head of festival distribution at Raina from Finland. And Anna Szczypińska, who is the head of industry and business relations manager at Millenium Docs Against Gravity Festival in Poland. And our 5th guest is Rada Šešić, who has been involved with many festivals. Mainly she is the head of documentary competition at Saro Film Festival and programmer of the documentary competition at the Trieste Film Festival. She's from Netherlands. So welcome. And let's start with my first question. I would like to ask Anna Szczypińska, if you could please introduce what short pitch at Millenium Docs Against Gravity is.
Yes, of course. Hello, everybody. We are very pleased and honored to host pitch program for the 2nd time. Ahead of us is the 3rd edition of the festival when we are developing a short films competition. So this initiative is integrated into our festival landscape. So what is short pitch program? 5 young filmmakers pitch their ideas for short documentary films to a panel of carefully selected decision makers and industry professionals. They are prepared in advance for the presentation by working with a moderator. This year, moderator is Anna Stelińska, a producer whose newest film, 5 Pills Away, is in the Polish competition of this year's festival. The short pitch program, it includes networking, where filmmakers can connect with the potential co-producers, investors, or distributors for their projects through one-to-one meetings. They may receive feedback and mentoring from experienced filmmakers, industry experts, to help them refine ideas and develop their projects further. And of course, we hope that the 5 selected projects may receive funding or production support or other resources that help them bring their shorts to life.
Thank you. Anna mentioned that they focus on young filmmakers. So let's talk about who is actually making short documentary films nowadays. Anna Grabo, what's your experience? Who is making shorts now? Is it students only, or is it also experienced filmmakers?
So It's the case that, like, for example, when I look at our catalog that we have at the Kurzfilm Agentur sales department, those films that we will present, we have a few short documentaries, and it's both, actually, just to say it like fast. It's like really people that are still like in a student status or have finished their school with a short film, with a short documentary film, but it's also but it's also filmmakers who are not in a student status anymore and who are just doing explicitly short documentary films, just like the question of who does short films all in all. It's not just students who do short films, but it's like a decision to make short films also through a experienced filmmaker's biography, if I said it correctly. And of course, it's always the question that a short documentary often mostly does need maybe a bit less of a budget. So it is like easier sometimes for also students to engage in this, but it's not always tied to being a student of having a big enough budget or so. Because all in all, I would say it's just the urge, even if it's fiction or nonfiction, it's like the urge to tell a story. And so I guess this is connected to students as well as experienced, more or different experienced people. And even in documentary, you need like, I mean, there are challenging situations, right? Like also on the technical sides, like thinking about lighting, thinking about unscripted, non-scripted occasions that may occur in front of the camera and how you react to it. You like need some kind of, experience and total life experience, which expands over the status of student or not. So both, in short.
Yeah, thank you. Andrew, what is your experience? Who do you cooperate mostly? Is it with students or experienced filmmakers who approach you?
I think, I think it's to a certain extent, it's true that a lot of short films are made by younger film. So much financial sense for many producers. So there's not that much to gain other than crafting their art or as a means of self-expression and getting a story out there. So yeah, I guess that we do work with a lot of students and young filmmakers. I guess short films can be seen as a calling card for new filmmakers. But having said that, and I guess I'm repeating what Anna's just said, really, that it can be both. I mean, at Raina, we work with a lot of short films. We started out mainly working with feature docs, but as time's passed, we have started taking on a lot more shorts. And we do see a lot of films from students and emerging filmmakers, but we also collaborate with AVRki, which is the Finnish Centre for Media Art, and those filmmakers are more likely to come from a video art background, and their films are more experimental, which I don't know is probably the short film is a more appropriate format for the films that they're working with. But then again, yeah, we do work with more established filmmakers. We're working with Nicola Illich, whose latest work has just premiered at Vision de Real, and he's been around for a long time. He makes feature films. Yeah, as Anna said, it can be both. It can be both.
Okay, thank you. So let's have a look at the point of view from the festival. So Rada, can you tell us what short films, documentary short films you are looking for, and where do you find them if you are looking for them for your festivals?
Hello, everyone. Hello to our listeners. And it's great that we are talking about short films because for me, short films are really bringing a lot of air and a lot of new ways of thinking, cinematic thinking. So you can see that when people apply to Saro Film Festival with their shorts, and I'm very happy that a few years ago, we included a special award for the short documentary. We have a section of the short films, fiction films, and then section of student films. But within the section of documentary films, we didn't have separately short documentaries. And I really experienced while selecting films for more than 20 years, that a lot of documentaries actually are too long. So if they would be shorter, they would be more to the point, they would be, the filmmakers would be more focused. And somehow by opening up this new section and new award, Heart of Sarajevo, which is money award as well, we sort of give support to the directors to think that, if the film is 30 minutes, it's also fine. It doesn't have to be 52 minutes, thinking of the, let's say, television format and so on. So the filmmakers apply because they find the platform working for them. We give the same importance to short documentaries as well as to feature-length documentaries. Actually, the short documentaries are being very much loved by the audience because they are kind of really hitting the point straight, to your mind and your heart, and they are full of inventive, lucid ways of telling the story and thinking within cinema. And I'm really delighted to see that established documentary makers, I mean, what my colleagues mentioned earlier, like Rado Žude from Romania, or Dane Komljen from Serbia, or Jasmila Žbanić from Bosnia, they're making short films as well, short documentaries. So this really platform that obviously gives a lot of freedom and a lot of excitement to filmmakers. So yeah, they are all around, and if we just give a little bit support to the makers and make them visible as much as the feature-length films, then they are very eager to make short documentaries.
Yeah, thank you. And now let's ask Joanna. You are working as also an independent curator. So where do you look for short documentary films? Is it mostly festivals or other sources?
Well, I'm watching films mostly at festivals, because short film circuit is very limited on many to the festivals. I'm very happy that there are more and more VOD platforms and VOD channels that are presenting short films. You can find them on HBO. I'm sorry for the advertisement, but you can find it on HBO, in Europe in Canal Plus, and I'm also very much recommending the This Is Short platform, which is an amazing place with short films. So yeah, as a curator, I'm scouting films at festival, but I wanted to touch the topic from the other direction, that I'm also working as a pre-selector. So let me give you a glimpse of the kitchen of making a festival. I'm the person who is presented with a substantial amount of films, and I'm talking about hundreds of films. So our role is to watch them and to well, let's say watch them. Let's stop here. But lately, what is welcomed with the much enthusiasm are films that are the practice of decolonizing. And I mean as a shedding the prejudices and talking about the privileges and how it affects all of us, also on the field of filmmaking. So I believe that films, documentary films and short documentary films, as they might be very accessible, should be tools of advocacy for humans and non-humans who are not able to speak, who are not heard, and who are not understood. So to summarize, I'm looking for films and also for places, such as festivals, who are giving perspectives on dynamics of power. I hope that is answering my question, and yeah.
Yeah, super, thank you. And Anna from Millenium Docs Against Gravity, how do you find your films for the short pitch, or also do you program like more films than this short pitch?
Well, we leave short pitch programming to IDF, we are just helping and overlooking the submitted films. So maybe I'm not the best person to answer this question. But when it comes to the festival and our short film competition, maybe on more formal side, I would say that our short film competition is curated, so we don't have open submissions. So this it means that you can submit for free to our two programmers, Justyna Fogler and Mateusz Góra. You just can get in touch with them by email. Our emails are at our website, so we are open to get in touch with the filmmakers before see the rough cuts or final films, or just catch a contact. So other formal details is that we do not pick specific topics. We just pay attention to the actuality of the subject, universality of the film, content level, artistic level, and what is also important for us is that we make sure that there is close to an equal number of female and male directors.
And do you also care like from which region or which country filmmakers or producers come from? And do you have enough submissions from the Central and Eastern Europe?
Yes, we have films mainly from Europe, but I wouldn't say our main target is Central and Eastern Europe. Of course, we pay a lot of attention to Polish films because we do care about promoting them, but I have to admit that our program is mostly Western European.
And Rada, what is the case with Saro Film Festival? Do you have enough submissions or enough selected films from the Central and Eastern Europe?
Yes, we do. Actually, countries like Azerbaijan, for example, that makes very few feature-length films, or at least very strong feature-length documentaries, they make a lot of great shorts. And almost every year there is a short from Caucasus country. There are new names coming, a lot of female directors, very interesting female producers also within the short documentary production. So there is a big challenge there, and obviously it gives space for beginners. We talked about student films, and indeed the fact that the budgets are smaller, and this is the weight on the shoulder to deal with a big amount of money or to find a big producer is lesser when people make short films. Very often, friends start making film together. And interestingly enough, Sarajevo Film Festival started more than 15 years ago one initiative which is called Sarajevo City of Film, where we try to introduce a new way of collaborating between different countries. So the project was supposed to involve at least 2-3 countries, collaborators and creative crew from 2-3 countries in the region, and then the Sarajevo Film Festival would try to find the money to support the director and the production, and this produced the whole initiative. The platform produced maybe 200 great films, and they were screened all over the world. And big directors, like Pavel Negoescu and many other from the Eastern Europe, who already are approved on the world scene with their feature films or feature-length documentaries. They also made these short films, and it's very interesting for filmmakers, for new filmmakers from, I don't know, Albania or Azerbaijan or any other country to work with the established name within the crew. So you have newcomers, first-time comers, and experienced directors. So yes, we do have a lot of interesting films coming, and I really try to give the same amount of time, the same amount of visibility at the festival, like we have a talk next day after the screening. There is this talk at noon at the festival square, very prominent place. So we talk to all directors, equally to the directors who made feature-length film and directors who made the short documentary film. So what matters is really strength of cinematic expression.
Thank you very much. And Andrew, what is your experience with film projects from the Central and Eastern Europe? Do you get enough films that you work with, or you wish there were more?
I'd love to receive more. We have worked with a number of filmmakers from the region in the past. We don't have that many at the moment. We tend to work with a lot of Finnish films due to our location and connections, etc. So we'd love to work with more from Central and Eastern Europe. The work that they send does tend to be very strong. It's some of the best that we receive. I think there's a strong film education in the region, and that obviously comes across in the filmmaking. But yeah, we're happy to receive more, love to receive more from the region. And when we started Raina, we wanted to work with filmmakers from how would you say, underrepresented backgrounds, whether that's uh, female filmmakers, LGBTQ, or filmmakers from a migrant or immigrant background. So yeah, that would also be helpful for us as well. But yeah, send us your films, please.
Okay, super. And Anna, with Kurzfilm Agentur, do you focus mainly on German films, or do you also deal with international productions?
No, we definitely don't focus just on German films. We have quite a few international productions, also productions from the CC regions. Like just thinking right now, one of our newest films that we took is a short documentary from Olga Lukovinikova with Object 817, and we had Nano Tudor before. Which is really wonderful to work with her films. We're all huge fans of her cinematic language and of the way she tells the stories. So, so just saying like this as one example, there are follow-up projects we start. It's like by chance. I'm not in the agency so long, so I was talking a lot with my colleagues who have been there for many years. I'm just there like a few months, so so I'm kind of getting to know the place a bit better. But of course I know the agency for a long time because I've worked in collective cinema. I'm a no-budget filmmaker myself, and so it's definitely like a really important collective space that we have, and it all came from actually like a festival. So our roots are based like in a no-budget festival that that advanced like to an agency because there was a need to gather all these films and to do like more with them. And this has been like international from day one, I would say. And yeah, just thinking right now, since I've been there, we've had also a wonderful submission that we really want to take in our catalog, which is a Ukrainian filmmaker based in Berlin. And she's done a wonderful film in Uzbekistan. And it's not documentary, it's fiction, but it's such a beautiful pace and such a inspiring visual language, also with the LGBTIQ subtone. Just it's like the whole package. It's like really we all saw it, and this is how it is, right? We get the submissions either through festivals that we visit or even through our own festival. Quite a few films actually this year have been submitted from also Łódź Film School, Polish films, to our festival. I was just taking a look at the numbers like in advance of our talk here to see, yeah, from which regions the festival has gotten some films, and I was really surprised to see how many from Croatia also. So there's really quite a lot happening. And then we as the sales department always, so we don't we're like not the festival, so we come in second terms, or sometimes like get a tip or watch the things that may come you know, may work for us, because we do deal with different institutions like TV and VOD platforms, and not the cinema. So we have to look for different things on the about the films. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is actually what I wanted to follow with. So you said that you sell the films. So who do you sell it to? Like who is buying short docs nowadays?
Short docs, yeah, that's even harder. So short docs, having said all these like wonderful docs that we have, I have to be a bit realistic. It can be challenging to get these short docs into the market, like on the market. We have to do it. For example, TV stations. There are a few, of course, we work with television. So for example, a lot with Arte. Unfortunately, Arte doesn't take short docs, although they take short films. They have a slot for short films. But sometimes the Swiss TV, Finnish TV stations would maybe take short docs. So it's always a kind of pitching on our side to bring them into these slots. Then of course we do work with our own theatrical distribution and also with the French distribution. So they sometimes would take short docs, but they are even tied to more boundaries concerning the length, because they always look for really short films. So we in the sales department are always looking for films like about 5 to 20 minutes. Perhaps like 30 minutes, yes, can also work, but like that's roundabout. And the theatrical distribution, like the shorter, the better. So that can be challenging also concerning the short docs. But there have been a few, maybe I'll come to this a bit later, or there has been one that has worked very well. And then, which is really important for short docs actually, are the newspaper platforms. So we've been working with, so this is always something we negotiate, of course, with the filmmakers or the rights holders, because not everyone wants this. Because working with, for example, the New York Times or the Guardian, they have their VOD platforms, and of course, it's a good place to place your film if you want, but it's always good to know that they want to have the rights in perpetuity. So you have to, you have to know this, and this is something we talk about like at a really early stage when we get to know the rights holders, the filmmakers, kind of decide together which way to go, because we want to do what they want. We don't want to, it's like a really big social discussion, discussing part in this whole job. And then maybe just to sum it up, another important place or important institution I've been working with a lot are, of course, educational platforms. So that's also like a big part for the short docs, but I haven't, then also thinking about this, also other platforms, like for example, the DA, the Dog Alliance platform that you all know, is also one of the VOD platforms that's been taking short docs. So yeah.
Okay.
Also yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And just going back to Andrew, because you distribute a lot of shorts also. So where is the audience in your experience who watches short docs?
Good question. I mean, it's difficult for me to answer. I mean, it's festival audiences. I mean, that's who we deal with. We tend to deal with festivals rather than any of the platforms. Or well, I mean, one place that we do tend to get an audience is if we beyond festivals is if we work with galleries or museums or human rights or educational organizations. They can provide a really nice audience outside of the festival market. But I guess with festivals, it's just it's film lovers. It's like people who really appreciate the art form of short filmmaking.
Okay, thank you.
I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Staying with the same question, Joanna, what is your experience? Like, where do you find when you curate something like where are you thinking about the audience also? And where is your audience usually for the films that you curate?
Always, I'm an agent for the audience when I'm watching movies and I'm selecting them or curating them into the programs. But I'm also an agent of an artist, and I want to build a place where a filmmaker and their audience can be connected and discuss or talk or feel safe. It's really a difficult question where to find, because you can find films everywhere, especially when you are in a certain milieu. So I think I will answer differently. I will say that networking is very powerful. So if you want to get to know the short films, ask for them. But I think that filmmakers are the ones who are more interested to get their films seen. So I think you can really do a lot apart from making a movie. You can build those places yourself. So reach out to curators, reach out to film festivals, reach out to other filmmakers, and build the platforms for yourselves, and they will be seen. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. So when you mentioned networking, does it mean that there are also some like specific networks, like international network for short films that you know or you would recommend?
No, I don't know any of them, but I believe there are many of them. But I think that what is needed is an encouragement. Of course, finances is something that is very restricting, and generally access to resources. That's always the first thing. But you know. Making movies is a privilege, and especially now because it will never be green enough. It will always be something that the resources could be spent on something else, especially today. So I think you need to be aware that if you are making a movie, you are privileged and you have responsibility. So it's not enough to make a movie. It's also very important to take responsibility for what it will what will be the next steps for this film. So answering the question, I don't know any of those platforms, but I hope they're there, and I hope that there are many of them, and I hope that they will find a way to be seen. Just go for social media and just let yourselves be seen.
Thank you. And Rada, do you have any experiences with collaboration with like specific places where people can watch short docs, like in the frame of your festival, or do you focus on cinema screenings only?
Well, I want to mention one interesting platform, which is not part of the festival that I work for, which is a festival of short films, Go Shorts in Nijmegen in the Netherlands. I live in the Netherlands, in Utrecht, and this place is already well known for the screening good short films, and also giving a space to the directors who are interested in, and producers who are interested in making short films. So they already started several years ago, industry part of the Go Shorts, and they made community. And within this community, networking is happening very intensively. People make collaborations, they find their sales. And there are several sales now also, which like several years ago, that was not the case, who are really interested especially in short films and distributing short films, finding the platform. This is very interesting what Anna was saying, how they work with also newspapers. And when I think of Saro Film Festival, I noticed that every year we get many films, short documentaries from Ukraine. And unfortunately, due to this terrible war that is taking place, and due to the fact that normal condition of filmmaking production is also very difficult in the war situation, the short films are being one of possibilities for people to speak out and to also reach other people, to express what's going on, to express how they feel, to have this artistic outlet, and also not only for the filmmaker, but for the whole nation. So I think these films are extremely relevant for the whole world to understand what is going on. When the war was happening in Sarajevo, I'm originally from former Yugoslavia, I lived in Sarajevo. So when the war was happening there and it lasted for 4 years, one of the productions that were happening in this so-called no budget and kitchen production was exactly short film production, short documentaries, short fiction films, but mostly documentaries, because they have extremely valuable weight in these unfortunate times. So it's really great that these short films can reach the platforms that Anna was mentioning, and other distributors are working on. So yeah, I mean, the time also gives importance to this format of the short documentaries.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And what's the situation in Poland, Anna? Like in the frame of Millenium Docs Against Gravity, do you also collaborate with some specific platforms or special places where people can watch films or short docs?
Oh yeah, we actually have our own VOD platform connected to the festival. We after the cinema part of the festival, we have online part of the festival, and after that we distribute some of the films on our whole year VOD platform. Of course, we are part of Doc Alliance, so the AIM Films is the platform we obviously collaborate with. But yes, I think for the shorts that would be it. Well, in Poland, while streaming platforms dominate, still cinema releases and film festivals remain very important for the documentaries, and they provide opportunities to buzz the films for filmmakers and attract attention for distributors and audiences. And we apart from organizing the biggest film festival in Poland, we we work as a distributor for through the whole year, and we successfully distribute documentaries in cinemas. But unfortunately, it's usually feature films. But I think it should be should get changed, because as for such a young short film competition, we see that it gets a lot of interest from our audience. So I think there is a potential to distribute it in cinemas, in blocks of films.
Thank you. Now, and you, what's your experience with distribution and sales of shorts? What's your most successful projects that you were dealing with, and why do you think it was successful or is successful?
It's we had a short film from 2022 called it's a Finnish film, Blush, An Extraordinary Voyage. It's screened at around, I think it's 70 festivals, and it's still being picked up now. And in terms of money, and short films are notoriously not great money makers. It's made around €3,000, I think, from screening fees and awards for the filmmakers. I mean, obviously it's a fantastic film, but it ticks so many boxes because it's human rights, it's about gender issues, it blurs the line between documentary and fiction, it's animation, and it's just a great story. So the visuals are a puppet animation of the background of a real conversation that's actually taking place about the first time the protagonist goes to the shops, dressed. So he's a male, but he's dressing as a female. And it's about how nervous he is going to the shops for the first time. And what you see is you hear the conversation taking place between him and his best friend, or them and his best friend, but their best friend. And their visuals it's actually a journey into outer space. And it was just easy as I said, it ticked so many boxes of things that festivals were looking for, that it was just such a super easy film to distribute. And once it took off, everybody was asking for screeners and everybody wanted to screen it. It was a pleasure to work with. And we're working with the filmmaker on her newest movie at the moment.
Okay, great. So let's hope that I can watch the film somewhere. And Anna, what's your most successful film at the Kurzfilm Agentur, and why do you think that it's successful?
Yeah, thanks for the question. This I was actually asking my colleagues who've been there much longer. And like, I was happy about this question because then my colleague said, well, yes, our best-selling film, a short film, is actually a documentary, a short doc, which I wouldn't have guessed. And it's called 10 Meter Tower. It's a Swedish short film. It's like a really, I don't know if you've seen it. It all plays on 10 Meter Tower in an open swimming place.
Oh yeah, and people have to
It's like an
jump down.
experiment. Actually, it's like a hybrid. It's like a hybrid documentary. I mean, short documentary. It's like not like a documentary, like in a traditional sense you would say. But this is like what's even nice about it. And yeah, this film actually it's like our best-selling film. It had like a really good festival run, and it's been like sold to all different platforms. Like right now, I think it's in the New York Times. It's like where it's like the last place it was sold to. But so it's even a film that's often booked. I asked the theatrical distribution because this is also very special in Germany that we do have the place before feature films to show short films, and this is well, it's quite a political thing right now in Germany because it used to be something that is state funded for the cinemas, but this is something that's like in discussion right at the moment. So we all cross our fingers that this is something that they won't cut, and that there will be a chance, because you have to make it easy for cinemas also to show short films. I mean, I also come from a cinema, and it's always pretty expensive, like showing short film programs like for cinemas. But so it was actually really nice. It was like this the state-funded thing. But coming back to, so it's 10 Meter Tower, and it all plays on a 10 Meter Tower. And I think why it's so successful is because you can watch it and you relate like bodily, like you're just sucked into the situation. So it's a really easy cinematic experiment.
Thank you. And Joanna, what's the most successful film that you selected for a festival, and why do you think that it was so successful? Joanna, since you are like a pre-selector for film festivals, which is a great position. So what do you think was your most successful project?
I think that I'm opposing the notion of success. So, I really don't like this word, and I think that I will answer like that. I also don't. I imagine that filmmakers are listening to us. I'm not a fan of giving examples of very specific movies because that might lead to a cynical that might lead to cynicism because and you use the term of ticking all the boxes. Yes, it's very important to know what's what and what's going on and what are the trends, but it might lead to just thinking about the trends and not about the story you want to tell. So I won't answer your question. I will only say just watch the movies and listen to yourself. I know that it's not what you were expecting from me, but I'm thinking about filmmakers who are listening to us. So my answer would be just watch the movies and talk to other filmmakers and inspire each other.
Thank you. No problem.
Can I just follow up? No, I completely agree with what Joanna said there. Yeah, I use that term it ticked a lot of boxes. But it's really important as well for filmmakers not to listen to this and think, "Oh, I have to make sure that there's a human rights angle, or there's a Ukraine angle, or there's a Palestine angle." You have to make the film that you want to make and not worry about what the journey is after that. Because if you're not making the film that you want to make, there is unlikely to be a journey afterwards.
Yeah, I totally agree. But still, we since we watch so many films during the whole year, we have our favorites, right? So, okay, Joanna doesn't. She likes everything. No.
Well, yes, I have my favorite from this season is an Iranian film. But you have to give me a second to remember the title. I really love a Polish artist, Zuza Banasińska. She had you will be able to see her film Grandmama and Sister Cat on Docs Against Gravity in a short
Yes,
section.
I was about to tell about that one. Yeah.
Yes, Zuza is an amazing artist. She's a great person, and she's proposing something really important, in my opinion, because she is dealing with the archives, and she's queering them. And I really like this strategy for artists to put different focuses on reality, to give different perspectives, because this is what it's all about. Queering means also spoiling and making it difficult. And this is what I wish for filmmakers to give audience. Challenge us, challenge us, and give us something to think.
Thank you. And Rada, do you see any kind of new exciting trends in the documentary filmmaking focusing on shorts? We talked about it, like in the films that you get to your festival or you see in different documentary markets.
Well, what I see in documentaries in general, not only in short format, but in general, but especially in short format, there are a lot of personal films. And that is wonderful that short format especially can give opportunity to the director to start making film even with mobile phone, with very little money, and through the time express how she or he feels about certain things in life. So there is always this strong emotional charge in the film that we as audience can feel. And that's why they good, when they really succeed in these good films, they make strong connection with the audience. That's why the audience like these films, because they in a very short period of time they give them a lot of emotional intensity that the viewer can recognize and identify with. So I would say that what I have noticed is that a lot of personal films, a lot of let's say quiet films, so not films with a a lot of crew and the different spaces changing. It's a lot of films are made just in the in one room on the balcony, observing something, some small thing that actually becomes very relevant and therefore also very big in somebody's life. So I think that this establishing this emotional connection is the most important what people should aim for and could achieve also. And these films, we remember, at least I remember several films that really touched me on this level. And I want to add one thing. I don't know, I'm sure that our colleagues present here are aware of that because it's already happening for many years. The Dutch filmmakers are really very successful in making short documentaries, especially for children. And these films are extremely widely watched in the whole country and are taking part in educational program in schools, educational program of different institutions. I was for several years in the selection committee of IDFA, especially in the shorts. Later, I was selecting for the feature-length documentaries, but in one period of time, I was with shorts. And you can see how thoroughly they approach making each film. So there is also a lot of thought behind from the Dutch Film Fund and thinking of how can we reach the youngest audience, what we can tell them in the way that speaks to them. And these films are really super successful, important, and very, very liked by also older audience, by adults as well as by kids, because they hit the spot, emotional spot, and they tell important thing in a small story that actually is a big story.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I just remembered when I was working for the One World Human Rights Documentary Film Festival. We like every year we selected some Dutch short film for the kids because it was just unbelievable. And also what you mentioned that how much support goes into production of the films. It's not just the finances, but it's also time that lots of the filmmakers, before they actually start making the films with the kids, they really spend lots of time with them. So then it feels like much more, they know them much better and can really develop an interesting story.
Yeah, they take what is the aim behind. So they really work on the preparatory part of making those films. And it really pays off because these films are really good films. And as you said, Hannah, you always had at One World some Dutch films, and I'm selecting for one festival in Croatia, Docu Art. We always have, every night, we have one short films. And the safest pool to dive in are the Dutch films, because there is always something interesting and the way how to reach the young audience. And that's the biggest challenge, actually, how to reach the youngest audience, because they don't go to cinema, they watch films on their mobile phones. And so these films have to have a different type of language, visual language, because the span of time is different than what they watch, but you want to tell them important things, and you want also them to feel being talked about. They need films to be recognized, identified with also. And yeah, these films are really succeeding in that.
Yeah, thank you. Anna, Grabo, you have been nodding a lot when Rada was speaking. So would you like to add anything to the question of any kind of trends that you see in the documentary field?
Well, I was nodding at also at the Dutch part because I had a concrete example, but maybe I want to add something. I want to add something also to Joanna, because I was also, when I was thinking about this question, what appeals to me, or what's just what what kind of like touches me, my eyeballs when I watch something. And it's definitely this new, it's not a new trend though, of course, but like the working with the archives, appropriating the state archives. So you already brought a wonderful example. I would add also maybe appropriating the family archives. And I think all has been said already with, I mean, the films and the genres are getting more polyphone. You can't categorize them anymore. I like this a lot. I mean, this makes it challenging for the sales department because we have to do with a lot of institutions that like to categorize and that want like the box, what genre is this? And we're like, well, you can say it like this, or it's like a discourse that needs to follow up, like in the practical ways how TV stations choose their films and so on. But but I like this a lot. So also the collective filmmaking, just to add that, collective filmmaking, it's like, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe small, like Total Refusal, also appropriating video games and like putting them into like a whole new context, challenging the status quo, like via this kind of film. I think this is something I like to watch. Yeah. And I would hope that we, on the sales part, would also, because this is what we do, we want to bring something back also to the filmmakers, so you can't make a lot of money. This is like the example I brought. Joanna's absolutely right. It's like a really small spark. This is not the daily basis with the most films, like the best, and this, there's like this thing, how does it usually work? And it's always, we try to like get the threads together, and it's always nicer as a filmmaker who are also watching this to have some help on this part, if you like, and not do this all by yourself, because it is, it's lots of paperwork, it's lots of negotiation, and so on, lots of contracts, and it's always good to spread the knowledge, of course, on the one hand, and also, if you like, you can get agents and festival and sales wise, but yeah.
Great. We are almost finished. Like we could have been talking for much more hours, but I would like to finish with like one more kind of maybe a practical question, since this session is happening before the short pitch at Millenium Docs Against Gravity, and you are the decision makers who will be evaluating the films. So. And do you have any specific preparations before your job at the festival? Unmute.
Sorry. Yeah, when attending a session like the short pitch at Millenium Docs, it's really important to research the projects, research the filmmakers. What are they looking for? What types of films have they made before? Where have their films screened? Just go into those meetings really prepared and know what you're talking about and what they're going to talk about and what it is that they're looking for. That's the most important thing for me.
Thank you. Rada, how do you prepare for such meetings and pitches?
Well, I'm, like a good schoolgirl. I read the material that is sent to me by the organizers. So if there is something to watch, I watch. I'm not that much researching the filmmakers, like their background or their previous work, but specifically what is written in the text that they have wrote themselves. And then when I'm at the pitch, then I'm kind of trying to understand whether these two things fit, because sometimes they don't fit, what is written and what actually the filmmaker is expressing. So sometimes, you get a big surprise.
Thank you. And Joanna, how do you prepare for before the pitches?
I'm like Rada. I read everything, and I'm researching the project. For me, I'm just keeping my eyes open, and I'm putting a lot of energy to keep this time energetic, because pitching situation can get into your head, and that especially for filmmakers, if you are hearing us, don't stress. don't stress, just enjoy it, because there's a little secret. You, the filmmaker, are the only decision maker, because only you know what films you are going to do, and you are the only one who knows what you want to say. So we are here just your audience, and we are here to get to know you and to get to know your project, and we are just ready to share our perspective and experience. So really enjoy.
Thank you. And Anna Grabo, do you have anything specific how you prepare?
Specific, well, I think I can agree with Joanna and Raina just said things that I can relate with. Then maybe I could add, I'm also like a person that likes to read. I read everything. I'm like anxious. I want to know, it's like, it's like responsibility also still. But then I also try to get the moment where I stop to overthink it, so that I'm just like, there in the moment and listening, and not like in my head with all the research or things I have read about it and what has happened before, I just want, it's like that moment. So it's important what the story, what the message is. And I want to stay open to that. Yeah.
Thank you. And last but not least, Anna from the Millenium Docs, how do you prepare yourself before the festival starts?
Oh, you mean for the short pitch or for the?
Yeah.
Oh, for us it's a job to prepare the whole event. So it's a lot of collaborating with the IDF and with the decision makers and with the participants. And for us, the most important job is to pick the right decision makers, to tailor them to the needs of the projects. It can be, random big names, because there are so many great professionals, but each of them is dealing with another formats or topics or or different regions. So I think that is the most important thing, and to build connections with them and to make them feel welcomed here and eager to help the filmmakers. That's the most important job for the festival and for the market.
Yeah, so thank you, Anna, for your really nice words. And really, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart that you made time to be with us today. Thank you very much. And I just want to close the session. So would like to thank all 5 of you that you spent this hour with us. And let's hope that the audience enjoyed what we spoke about and enjoy the short pitch, and let's meet somewhere physically one day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck to
See you all
all
soon.
filmmakers.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye bye.